nothing better to do than watch TV and have a couple of brews. All our friends are gonna hang out here.
So here we are, day 2 of Salt Lake Comic-Con Fan Experience, and like last night, it's quiet now, but here in about an hour or so, there's going to be a whole bunch more people than there were here yesterday. We did some interviews yesterday, talked to a few people. Today we're going to take a look at some cosplayers and maybe get some footage of the panels. So here we go. Before, there's a lot of strange and bizarre things to be found at any convention like this, and this is one of the strangest but also one of the coolest. I'm talking with John Reed of Epic Balloons, who is going to try to create basically the world's largest balloon sculpture. John, thank you for taking the time to talk to us. A man with an epic mustache.
Try.
Yep. So how did you get started in making a balloon sculpture of this scale?
Actually, I started about 20 years ago just making balloons at parties. Eventually got bigger and bigger and bigger, and then a friend of mine who lives in Utah, Brian, convinced me that this would be the place to do it, showcase it to the people who would appreciate it the most.
All right, so you've done, according to the bio you have set up over here, you've done stuff for the White House, for Martha Stewart, for all sorts of people.
Yep.
What was the strangest thing you ever had to construct?
Wow.
If making giant balloon structures isn't...
Well, I mean, this one's pretty strange. I mean, this is when we're done, it's going to be over 50 feet tall. It's going to be a robot. It'll actually be so tall that we won't be able to stand him up in here because the ceilings are 30 feet high. So he's actually going to have to be kneeling.
Is this just a generic robot, or is this specific?
It's just a generic robot.
Okay.
DeLorean. The DeLorean, you know what? Yeah, the time machine from Back to the Future. I've done that now twice, actually, with my friend Dustin Query and Ryan Lavalle on the second one.
Full size to scale?
Full size to scale. Actually, there's the car that we modeled it off the first time is actually here at this convention, and I got to reconnect with those people 5-6 years later now.
All right. So, have you decided what this world's largest balloon sculpture is going to be once you decide to get it?
Well, this one is a robot. This is it.
This is it.
Yeah, this is officially the world's largest. It'll probably beat the current record by about 10 feet, 20 feet, 10 feet in one direction, almost 20 feet in the other.
All right, fantastic. Anything in the future that you're working on besides this, or?
I'm working on something.
Something.
Yeah.
Always something.
Always something.
Always.
Somethingsoon.com. Check it out. It'll be at something soon.
All right, great. Okay, I just want to wrap this up with what I like to call the random 5 random favorites. So I'm just going to ask you 5 of your favorite things.
Sure.
Just answer them as quickly as you can. Current record is about 30 seconds, set by the producer of Hellskate over there in the art gallery.
All right.
All right. If it makes you feel any better, though, I asked both Cassandra Peterson and Mickey Dolenz. They both took about 1.5 minutes. So.
Let's see how fast I can go.
All right, here we go. Favorite movie?
Back to the Future.
Favorite book?
How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie.
Okay. Favorite musician or group?
Jason Mraz.
Favorite sandwich?
Turkey Club from Subway.
And favorite candy bar?
Favorite candy bar? Mars bars, but the one from the UK.
Oh, yeah, those are great. All right, John Reed, thank you very much for your time. I appreciate you talking to me. Again, you never know who you're going to find when you're at a convention like this. Yesterday I found Rod Serling's daughter, and today I found one of the legends of Filmation, Hanna-Barbera, Ruby Spears, just about any animated series in the 80s. Ladies and gentlemen, director and animator Tom Cook.
How you doing?
Hello.
Good to see you.
Oops, sorry, let me make sure you're actually in frame there. Again, the professionalism my audience has come to expect. Yeah, so, Tom, I grew up watching a lot of these shows that you worked on, especially the Filmation shows and whatnot. Well, let's start at the basics. How did you get into animation to begin with?
Well, I basically was a transit bus driver and took a class in comic book art. And long story short, the teacher worked at Hanna-Barbera, liked my work, and said there was a class I could take. He recommended me, and in 3 weeks I was working at Hanna-Barbera.
All right, and what was your first show you worked on?
First show was, actually I was hired to do Super Friends because I did a lot of superhero work, and that's what he liked. And he said a lot of people could draw Fred and Barney, but they can't draw superheroes.
Right.
And of course, the first show I worked on was the new Fred and Barney show, so I drew Fred. But I ended up working on Super Friends as soon as they started that one up.
How did you end up working at Filmation?
Well, all of the animation was sent overseas by Hanna-Barbera, and so there wasn't really any job left. And I kind of saw the writing on the wall before they made the move. So I went over, I called a friend of mine that worked at Filmation and asked if they were hiring, and they were. So I went ahead and applied over there and got the job there, and of course I spent about 10 years there.
Oh, great. Now, recently, of course, Lou Scheimer passed away. What was it like working with him?
Well, Lou is one of those guys that you know, he cussed like a sailor and drank like a fish, but he was a really nice guy, and of course he was real well known for his morals at the end of the stories and stuff, so he was really conscious that we were doing something that kids were going to watch, and he wanted something that was going to be, you know, morally good for them. And but he was a great guy, and I was really sad to hear that I was actually in Nashville about to do a panel when a girlfriend of mine that worked in editing at Filmation was supposed to have lunch with him on his birthday, and he passed away the day before his birthday. Yeah, so it was sad. And also Hal Sutherland just passed away at the beginning of this year, so we lost.
I hadn't heard that.
Yeah, we lost two of the big legends of Filmation.
No. All right, so after Filmation closed its doors, where did you go from there?
Well, I actually went over to MTM Studios trying to get a job doing something, even just sweeping the floors. And we ran into a guy that worked there, and he said, "Oh, you guys working at the animation studio across the street?" And we were like, "What animation studio across the street?" He said, "Well, Jeff Patch is hiring some people to do Roger Rabbit." And we knew Jeff Patch, so me and my buddy went running over there, and within a day or two, I was working on Roger Rabbit. And I stayed there until I moved to Seattle in the early 90s.
All right, so did you do all three of the Roger Rabbit shorts, or just the first one?
No, just Tummy Trouble, the one that was with Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
All right. Okay, so what are you doing these days?
I'm basically just doing cons.
He's doing cons?
Yeah, going around meeting the fans. I live in Idaho now, and I officially retire next month.
Oh, okay.
I'm turning 62, so, but I'm still gonna, this is a lot of fun, so I'm doing probably every WizardCon show this year. Here, I was in Seattle, gonna do Rose City in Oregon, and a number of other ones.
So what was your favorite show that you worked on in terms of just artistically satisfying?
Well, I would say it was Thundar the Barbarian, and mainly because Jack Kirby was one of the creators of that, and he was one of my big heroes. But of course, He-Man, just for the fact that it was so big.
Right.
And that's the one that, when I was looking in the business, somebody'd say, you know, what do you do for a living? I'd say I'm an animator, and they'd go, well, what do you work on? And I'd say Thundar, and I don't know what that is. But when I said He-Man, everybody knew.
Everybody knew.
Every parent knew, because all their kids were asking for the toys for Christmas.
All right. Okay, I'm just going to wrap this up. I don't want to take too much of your time. This is something I've been doing with every interview I've been doing. It's called the Random 5 Random Favorites. I'm going to ask you 5 of your favorite things. Just answer them as quickly as you can. I kind of have an unofficial contest. Current record is 30 seconds, provided by the producer of Hellskate, elsewhere here in the Artist Alley.
All right.
If it makes you feel any better, if you take too long, I already talked to Mickey Dolenz and Cassandra Peterson. They both took a minute and a half. So don't feel pressured or anything. No pressure. All right, here we go. Favorite movie?
Star Wars.
Favorite book?
Grapes of Wrath.
Favorite musician or group?
Beatles.
Favorite sandwich?
Roast beef.
Favorite candy bar?
Mounds.
All right.
Even a question there.
Tom Cook, Filmation legend, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me. Only at Comic-Con will you find assorted costumes and whatnot, and only at Comic-Con will you find a Jedi hanging out with Jessica Rabbit. I'm talking to Ryan and Shelby today. All right, so what brings you guys out today?
Well, I actually own Sci-Fi Speed Dating, and I'm running that here at this convention, and I brought her out to give me a hand.
Yep.
All right. Great. So have you been to, so obviously were you at the first Solid Comic-Con last September?
Yeah, we were here last year when it debuted. It was awesome.
All right. So what is Sci-Fi Speed Dating all about then?
It's just what it sounds like. It's speed dating for super fans at Comic-Con. We don't run outside comic events. We only do them at different comic conventions around the country, and it's just about finding somebody you can be yourself around. Let your geek flag fly.
Awesome. All right, who are you here to see, of the guests, who are you here to see the most excited to see? Nathan Fillion? You got to wait till tomorrow for him.
I know.
I was here to meet Brent Spiner, and I got that done, so.
All right, fantastic. So now you're just soaking in the atmosphere and
Yep.
running the speed dating. All right. Well, thank you very much for taking the time to talk to us. So once again, in terms of creative costumes, we have the Green Lantern hanging out with Rule 63 Loki. This is, I'm sorry, your name just immediately slipped my mind. I apologize.
Brown and Lindsey Brown.
Jordan and Lindsey Brown. Thank you very much. I apologize for that. So what brings you guys out to Comic-Con this weekend?
Dressing up.
Dressing
it's
up?
Fun. You need an excuse to wear a costume that you spend 40 plus hours working on. And it's so much fun to see everybody else's costumes and everyone else's creativity.
All right.
Yeah, definitely.
So what else have you done besides Green Lantern and Loki?
This is it.
This is
our
it?
First
This is your first
costume,
time doing
first
it?
Comic-Con.
Fantastic. Well, let me just,
So-
these look great. Let me just pan down here so everybody can see it so I'm not blocking traffic. All right. What else brings you out aside from the cosplay? Anything? Any guests or anybody like that?
Games. They have tournaments. All types of things going on. We're just
Carl Urban. Out to see Carl Urban today.
Yep.
Anybody else on the guest list that you're looking forward to meeting?
Karen Gillan.
Yeah.
Karen Gillan. All right.
Dr. Who's awesome. So
All right, great.
That's way exciting.
And then Guardians of the Galaxy, of course, which is coming out.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yep.
Yes, that's going to be awesome.
All right. Well, thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it. We'll let you get on your way. Thank you. So if you remember what you saw yesterday, we had a bunch of people sitting there and all that. But now I give you the great thundering nerd migration of 2014. So, while we don't normally talk about books here on Into the Idiot Box, if you were a young geek like me and you really didn't find fantasy all that accessible, this man helped make it happen for you. Part of the legendary team who brought us the Dragonlance saga, ladies and gentlemen, Tracy Hickman.
Hello.
Hello, Tracy. Thank you for taking the time to talk to me.
Comic-Con Fan X. It's good to be here.
Good. So, basically, I just want to know, everybody knows that Dragonlance more or less came about because of the in-house RPG campaign you guys were running at the time.
It was originally proposed as a ginormous role-playing adventure series. The first thing that was done is they asked us to do something with all of the dragons. There were 12 different dragon types in first edition.
Oh, geez.
And the idea of doing kind of a Dragon of the Month thing sounded really awful to me. I wanted to do a story. You know? It was just kill the white dragon, take its stuff, get more stuff, kill the black dragon, get more stuff.
Take its stuff.
So we decided to tell a story, which is kind of where my wife and I came into role-playing. And that's where the story came into game. And doing the books were just kind of a tertiary thing.
And now they're classics.
You never know which way fate's going to take you.
What is it about Dragonlance do you think that has contributed to its longevity? Why do you think it's just so beloved? Especially your books that you wrote with Margaret Weiss, or is it Weiss? Did I mispronounce?
No, Weiss. Margaret Weiss.
Yeah, you and Margaret Weiss wrote, as opposed to some of the other books in the series, which were, shall we say, less than well received.
Well, I think mostly it's a matter of vision. Margaret and I had this wonderful vision of Dragonlance and what it should be and what it could be. But I think, when I think back on Dragonlance now, and this is the 30th anniversary of Dragonlance this year, we're celebrating 30 years of Dragonlance now. When I look back on it, I think that the reason it succeeded was partly because it was a story about friends. It was a story about a group who were in a very tight relationship, and I think especially at the time when it came out, and even today, looking for meaningful relationships is something that's very difficult for people to find. And so it was a story about friends, really, and I think that's what attracted people to it. In the long run, however, I think it's really the fans that gave it that longevity. It's the people who read those books and interpreted those words into meaning that really has been the spark that's lit the fire under Dragonlance all these years.
It's great. So obviously after Dragonlance, you've gone off and written your own things with your wife, and it's like, what's the latest project that you've put out?
Well, actually, the latest thing that my wife and I have done is return to games.
Oh, okay.
Laura actually introduced me to Dungeons & Dragons, and that's a great story we'll have to tell you sometime. But more recently, we did a Kickstarter campaign last year for a game called Sojourner Tales, a storytelling board game. And we wanted to get back to the fun in games and telling story in games. So it's actually a pretty intriguing little project. It's a board game that uses an ebook. Kind of like the old Pick a Path Adventures.
Gotcha.
And so the game that you play on the board depends on the module that you download into your Kindle or your iPad.
That's cool.
Yeah, we even are offering, offer licenses for people to legitimately write their own games for our board game and sell them online.
Nice.
yeah, it's a pretty exciting thing for us.
Now, you also, and speaking of games, we're going to talk about probably your most insane project, Extreme Dungeon Mastery.
Extreme Dungeon Mastery.
I bought a copy of the book a couple of years ago. Unfortunately, I don't have it with me right now. I actually left it in Florida. I used to live there for a few years.
Well, I can sell you one.
No, that's all right. My copy's still pretty well intact. I've just got to go get it. So, what's the philosophy behind Extreme Dungeon Mastery?
The philosophy behind Extreme Dungeon Mastery is to put the fun back in games, or to put the game back in role-playing games. It's gotten so technical these days, and the systems have gotten so into minutia these days, that we've forgotten that thrill that we had when we walked around a corner and we saw a kobold, and we really weren't sure if we could take it or not.
Right. Dying during character creation, that's what we like.
That's what we like. We want to get right back to the Traveler system. And see, it's that thrill of the unknown that we've gotten away from in games. It's all become very gamey. It's all become very system-oriented.
Rules-oriented.
What XDM does is takes us back to the thrilling days of yesteryear, when the rules were kind of flexible, and what was important was how much fun we were having in the game. The book actually takes everything that I've learned over 30 years of role-playing games and tries to fix it for all of the games that are out here today. We're actually writing a new one this year called XPC, Extreme Player Codex, which is going to take a look at gaming from a player's viewpoint and how to improve play.
Yes, XDM, which also offers everything from dealing with unruly players to high explosives, apparently.
Yes, a heavily redacted section. We could have gotten on the watch list for that one.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm gonna. You have a panel to get to, so I don't want to take up any more of your time. So I'm just going to finish this off with everything that I've been doing with every interview. The random 5 random favorites. I'm going to ask you 5 of your favorite things, really rapid fire. Just answer as quick as you can.
I'll do the best. This Rorschach test is brought to you by.
Well, to be honest, I'll be honest with you. Right now, the record is about 25 seconds that just got laid down by Tom Cook from Filmation.
Sweet.
And longest time so far is a tie between Mickey Dolenz and Cassandra Peterson, who took a minute and a half each.
We'll see how it works.
All right, here we go. Favorite movie?
Source Code right now.
Favorite book?
Stephen Leacock's book, and it's called Sunshine Sketches of a Little Town.
All right. Favorite music or group? Music performer or group, excuse me.
Ooh, that's hard. I'm kind of torn between a whole bunch of soundtracks, which is what I write to. And I'm going to put Gladiator, Lord of the Rings, and I'm going to stick with those.
Lord of the Rings.
All
right. Favorite sandwich?
Ooh, favorite sandwich? Probably Subway's. Very simple sandwich because it's so quick and I just don't have time for it.
Right. Favorite candy bar?
Snickers.
Snickers. All right. Tracy Hickman, thank you very much for your time. I'll let you get to your panel now.
Yes, I'll snicker as well.
Yes. More coming from Salt Lake Comic-Con Fan Xperience, Day 2. So here we are, Day 3. Final day of Salt Lake Comic-Con Fan Xperience and the beginning of the madness. If record holds as it did last year, we may actually sell out and it's going to be intensely crowded and insane. Even more so since Nathan Fillion and Patrick Stewart are going to be here today. Not a chance I'm going to get to talk to any of them one day, and they're going to be very, very busy. But we'll see what we can do, swing into some panels, talk to some more cosplayers, and see what else we can find. Stay tuned. More to come from Day 3. Remember when I said it was going to be insane? And Nathan Fillion's only here for one day? Well, this is the line for his panel, which starts at 10 a.m. For the record, it's 8:30. Check this out.
the shameless plug so we can see all of you. You have to smile though, okay? Make
Fix
sure
your
you
hair.
Yes.
Thank you for bearing with us. Hello, Salt Lake City. Anyone here local? Anyone from out of town? Woo, me too. Brian? Brian Weiser? Where are you, Brian? Brian Weiser? Where? Hi, Brian. Your parents here? Hi, Weisers. Everybody, remember that Done the Impossible? You can thank Brian. So welcome to the South Ballroom. Captain Mao, Captain Hammer, and Nathan Fillion. This is my favorite part of the conventions because I get to talk to you and share this intimate personal moment and find out what exactly your burning desire questions are. There's something inside you want to know. Something that maybe can't be Googled. I love that when I get on Twitter. When's the new season of Castle gonna start? I don't know. I go to work and do my thing, and other people, that's not my job. Google. Some things can't be Googled. Salt Lake City and visitors. Some things you need to get from the source. Or me. So we got microphones. Do you want to start over here? There's some questions? Dr. Strange? Nicely done.
Captain, I was wondering, as someone who's teased about it a lot as a kid, have you ever played Dungeons and Dragons? And if you were, say, invited by, I don't know, Will Wheaton to play a board game with him, would you do it?
Chris Pelche was a friend of mine in 7th grade, and he invited me over, and his older brother was the dungeon master, and we were playing Dungeons and Dragons. It took so long. When is something gonna happen? My favorite part of playing Dungeons and Dragons was rolling the dice and figuring out my character and then drawing him. This is my guy. That's that sword we were talking about. It's not bad. But I found the game itself to be a little drawn out. But my favorite part about playing the game was drawing things out. Anyway. Would I ever play a board game with Will Wheaton? My practice is never start playing a game you know you can't win. And I don't care what you think when you look at Will Wheaton, but that kid's smart. Take it from me. Thank you very much, my friend. Was there another one on this side? Is there another question? 2 points.
Yes, you've clearly had a lot of experience working with Joss Whedon.
Clearly.
I was wondering what it was like working with him as opposed to other directors, and any special things about working with Joss Whedon.
First of all, I don't care who you are, someone's going to ask you a question and you go, yeah, I don't know, maybe we can do it like this. Never Joss Whedon. Joss Whedon has it all planned out. The lights, the time of day, the hair, the clothes, the music, the pace, the camera angle. Exactly. He knows before it starts. Also, he has a very pleasant way of, and it's an art. Everybody has an idea. Joss has a very pleasant way of saying no when your idea sucks. I come up with a lot of ideas. 98% of which are terrible. Joss will say something along the lines of, yeah, or, and then say something brilliant, and you go, oh, yeah. Yeah, that'd be good. Or he'll say, that's an amazing idea. No, wait, the other thing. He has a way of when it's really necessary that he says no. He has a way of saying no that doesn't make you feel like an asshole. Is there anybody under the age of 18 here? 16? Sorry, a-hole or dummy. Let's say dummy. He has a way of not making you feel like a dummy. Excellent question, both of you.
All right, gang, we talked to him yesterday, and he wasn't sure if he could make it fit, but he found a way. John Reed and the world's largest balloon sculpture. Legos are just fun, and we've had a recent major motion picture which was a huge hit, and I've got a kid who's a big Lego maniac himself. So, but these guys take it to a new level. Let's take a look at what the Lego Users Group of Utah has to offer.
You and I gonna win forever. Let's party forever. We're the same. I'm like you, you're like me. We're all working in harmony. Everything is awesome. Everything is cool when you're part of the team. Everything is awesome when we're living out our dreams.
3, 2, 1, go. Have you heard the news? Everyone's talking. Life is good cause everything's awesome. Lost my job, that's a new opportunity. More free time for my awesome community. I feel more awesome than an awesome possum. Dip my body in chocolate frosting. 3 years later I shot the frosting. Smelling like a blossom, everything is awesome. Stepped in mud, got new brown shoes. It's awesome to win and it's awesome to lose. Awesome to lose.
Everything is better when we stick together. Side by side, you and I gonna win forever. Let's party forever. We're the same, I'm like you, you're like me. We're all working in harmony. Everything is awesome. Everything is cool when you're part of the team. Everything is awesome when we're living our dreams.
Blue skies, bouncy springs. We just named 2 awesome things. A Nobel Prize, a piece of string. You know what's awesome? Everything. Dogs and fleas, allergies, a book of Greek antiquities, brand new pants, a very old vest. Awesome items are the best. Trees, drums, clogs, they're awesome. Rocks, clocks, and socks, they're awesome. Figs and jigs and twigs, that's awesome. Everything you see or think or say is awesome.
Everything is awesome. Everything is cool when you're part of the team. Everything is awesome when we're living our dreams.
Evil lurks at Salt Lake Comic-Con Fan Xperience. Well, sort of evil. I am here with Brett, Colette, and Millie, an adorable family who decided to cosplay as Megamind, Roxy Richter, and Minion. How are you guys doing today?
Oh no.
So what brings you out here today? Anything in particular, or just the experience?
Just the experience. Never been before.
Never been?
No.
And she could not look more bored.
Oh, she's
You having fun, or are you just overwhelmed?
She thinks her hat's hot.
All right. Anything in particular looking forward to see? Guests or anything like that?
No, I might not mind seeing the Star Trek crew. I'm kind of a Trekkie.
All right. So why Megamind? Why did you decide on that one as opposed to everything else?
He's just fun.
He's fun?
He's fun. He's fun and different. So.
I thought Brent looked like Megamind anyway.
Yeah.
And my hair worked out.
All right. Well, we'll let you guys get back to your fun. Thanks for taking a minute to talk to me today. So, as we come to the end of the Salt Lake Comic-Con, a few final thoughts. What's it all about? Well, it's about being with people you love and things you love, and meeting new people, meeting new friends, seeing cool things, and basically getting all about your favorite passions. I may not have gotten all the interviews I wanted, but you know what? It doesn't matter. For the last 3 days, I've been wandering through these hallways, talking to people, seeing a lot of really cool people that are better than any celebrity you could possibly talk to. And that, I think, is worth more than any other interview this might have gotten. I'm Dubious Khan. Join me next time for another trip into the Idiot Box.